Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Melissa, and today's video is going to be all about spring makeup trends. So these are some of my most favorite videos to work on because I really enjoy researching what the trends are and then looking through my collection to see what do I already have that is applicable. What, without going out to the store and buying a bunch of new stuff, crawling through my collection and coming up with things that I think apply. So I encourage you as you listen to this video to do the same with your collection, because this is not all about showing you a new product and saying how wonderful it is and you should buy it. This is all about, these are the trends. You probably already have something in your collection that will apply, and embrace it. Bring it out. So maybe it's something that's been pushed to the back. I know some of the things that I've pulled out have definitely been pushed to the back, and I'm excited to bring them forward. So I have a ton of notes in my little notebook here that I'm going to be referring to, and I'm going to get started. So this will be kind of, I'll be applying some things as we go. I'll be swatching some things. It'll be a mixture. No! Oh my God. There is so much product on my desk here. You're not going to even believe it. So I wanted to start off with two things that I've noticed, and probably you have noticed too. The first is there has been a ton of new foundations that were released in the early part of this year, and almost all of them were having all these skincare claims, this is going to do this for your skin. So definitely one of the makeup trends that I've noticed has been that using your makeup as skincare, something that you're wearing on your face for multiple hours that has skincare ingredients or properties or things that'll help enhance your skin. And it's just been almost overwhelming to keep up with everything that's been released. I had picked up a couple of new things to try because I was very curious about them, and I have a few here to show you, and one that I'm going to demo. So one of the first foundations I think that kind of kicked this trend off was from Perricone, and it's the No Foundation Serum. This is a little sample size that I picked up, and I've used about half of it. I really love this. So this is a very liquidy foundation, and it has pretty nice coverage. It's not going to be full coverage, but it is pretty nice coverage if you're in the light to medium shade. It does not come in other shades. That's the big downside to this, but I do think that this is what really kind of kicked off the whole serum-y type foundations that have hit the market, and kind of promoting skincare ingredients in foundations. So I really do think that this is what kicked it off. I don't have anything to base that on. It's just my opinion. So another foundation that is very serum-y like is from NARS, and it is the All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation. But I'm including it because it is one of these lighter weight foundations that have recently hit the market, and I've been playing around with that a little bit as well. The next one I want to show you is from YSL, and it is the Fusion Ink Foundation. You really have to give it a good shake. The top comes off, and then it has this kind of strange applicator that is like a stick. And you just kind of blot that on, and it's also an extremely thin foundation. This one is has an SPF of 18 and claims to have some oil controlling properties and self-adjusting properties in it. So the next one I want to show you is from Bare Minerals, and it is the Complexion Rescue Tinted Hydrating Gel Cream with an SPF of 30. I think you could wear this under foundation if you wanted a little extra coverage. I think the shade I picked up is a tad dark for me, but I've been using it quite a bit. I really love it. This is one that I really have loved. This shade is Natural, The one I'm going to demo today is the YSL. Just because I think it's kind of an interesting applicator, and I like the color of this one the best. Dot it all over my face. Now, I don't have anything on my face other than a little bit of eye cream. It's probably a little too much. I'll have to make it work. And I'm going to use this ancient beauty blender from Real Techniques. I need a new one. So I'm just going to go ahead and just spread this around. With that, I've also used a foundation brush. I really like this one that has come with the new Tarte Found Sealer. So I'm doing a combo. I've forgotten how quickly this sets, so I actually think I prefer using a damp beauty blender type sponge to help spread it around, because it does really set very quickly. So I think the coverage is medium. It has not totally covered this blemish here or some of my spots, and certainly not this redness here. I'm going to go ahead and apply a little bit more. And see if I can't get a little more coverage. It's better. It's not going to be full coverage. But the upside to this is it is super light and super comfortable to wear. And I picked this one because it does have some oil controlling properties to it, because I do tend to be oily, and so I'm always looking for a great foundation that's going to help control that oil. So, and I like the fact that it has a little bit of SPF in it. It's probably not enough. I probably would wear something a little bit more underneath, but for this demo purpose, I just wanted to do it on my bare face. So the next thing I wanted to chat with you, that you would probably have to be living under a rock not to have noticed, that just about every brand from high-end to drugstore has released some kind of a contour palette. It's almost weekly, something new is coming out. It's insane how much contouring has become the thing this season. I think it's just almost overwhelming how many items that have come out. I'm not a huge contour person, but I did pick up one new contour product, and that is the Smashbox Step-by-Step Contour Sticks. And these come with a highlight, a contour, and a bronzer in a pencil form. Highlight, contour, and bronzer. And I think you can tell this is much warmer than this is. So I am no contouring expert, which is why I thought these might be good for me, she says, because they seem maybe a little less tricky than, say, a lot of powders. And I could be totally wrong. I've only used these once or twice, but I'm going to start off with the contour pencil. And I'm just going to just do a little bit here. And blend it in. I think it gives a really nice soft effect. Then I'm going to go ahead and use the bronzer a little bit right above that and kind of go up a little bit. Because I wear my hair down, I don't feel like I need to do a lot of bronzing on my forehead. It doesn't show. It seems like a lot of effort for something that's really not going to show. So I'm going to stick with this area. So here's where the contour color is. I'm going to go ahead and bring the bronze color and blend that in. So I think it's a nice, real soft effect. I worry about being too heavily contoured and bronzed and feeling streaky. That's how I feel like I get sometimes, so I don't know. So then I'm going to finish up with the highlighter. And I'm going to go ahead and try and do that triangle thing, and I'm probably going to use this a little bit more than I used the other two. So I think you can get a really nice, soft, subtle look with these. If you're, you know, this is just not my bag really, but I did want to try these because I thought they were so interesting. And they are super creamy, super soft, and there's certainly something I want to play around a little bit more with to try and give my face a little more dimension. So I'm going to finish off by applying some blush. And there was not a lot of discussion in the makeup trend area for blush, but I'm going to wear some blush, and I just picked up the NARS Dual Intensity Blush in the duo called Panic. They are very intensely pigmented, and these are pretty heavy swatches. Since this is a high-end product, I think it deserves my one and only high-end brush, and that is the Wayne Goss number 12 brush. Really awesome. And I'm going to go into this more corally shade. Okay, let's get into some other makeup trends. So one of the things that I seem to see this repeated every single season. Fall, winter, spring, summer, every season they talk about eyeliners, cat eye, all different kinds of graphic eyeliner, and you know, I think it's just a staple, something that should be in every woman's kind of repertoire to be able to do some kind of an eyeliner. The other thing that I often see for the spring and for the summer is this nude look or a bare face or a fresh face look, and I think that's just kind of par for the course for the summertime, using less is more, and I think that's part of the appeal with some of these really lightweight serum-y foundations, is it is kind of like a less is more kind of thing. So that's also a huge trend for the spring, but one that I see repeatedly almost every spring. So the next trend I want to talk about concerns your eyebrows, and I think this is really interesting because, you know, fashion and makeup are very closely tied, of course, and they both kind of follow this pendulum swing, you know, from one extreme to another, and I think we've been at the extreme of this really dark, heavy filled in, really precisely groomed brow. Some people call them the Sharpie eyebrows. And I think for the spring, it's become a lighter brow was shown a lot, almost like pale or non-existent, or even unkempt brows that are probably just have a little bit of gel put through them, and they're not terribly filled in or just even really groomed much at all. So a much more natural brow, which suits me because I'm not a big brow girl either. So next up, we're going to talk about eyes. Some of my favorites. So the first eye trend, if you will, is a smoky eye. Again, something that I think never goes out of season. Style, smoky eye is always popular. But they really were talking more about using browns and bronzes for that look, and also using somewhat of a pop of color incorporated into the smoky eye look. I find that spring and summer makeup tends to be a little bit more fun, if you will, a little more colorful. I think it's just the nature of the time of year it is. The other thing that I noticed a lot was what they're calling purple haze, and this is something I noticed early on in the year, that so many palettes were offering a lavender shade in their palettes from all across all different kinds of ranges. It was really rather surprising to me. So a couple of palettes that I picked up that had these purpley colors. This is the Josie Marin palette that I picked up. Had this pretty purpley, actually two shades of purple, a darker one and a lighter one. My CK1 palette also has multiple shades of lavender in it. This is probably what I would consider the most lavender-ish shade in there, but there are also some plums and some really lighter pinks that kind of go with that. And this palette that I picked up from Bare Minerals, this is the Modern Icon palette that looks like this. And I've had this for quite a while and have not broken into it, and this is what I'm breaking into today. I'm going to use this on my eyes. I bought this really specifically for those two shades because I thought they were so pretty and would make such a pretty spring look. So I have not used this yet, so I'm going to apply that to my eyes, but before I do, I wanted to show you some purples or some lavendery colors from some palettes that have been kicking around in my stash for quite a while. And I'm going to start off with the Lorac Pro 2 palette. It has this kind of plummy color that could be sheared out a little bit. The IT Cosmetics Naturally Pretty has this beautiful violet shade, and also All Heart. Here, this is All Heart, and then this is, and the mother of all lavendery, pinky, mauvey shades is this Tarte Rainforest After Dark palette, which I don't know if you guys heard this, but they are re-releasing this palette. They said back by popular demand, they're re-releasing this palette, and so certainly these two colors here fall into that kind of lavender and violet-y look. I'm going to start by using the lavender shade, imagine that, and just applying that all over my lids. Oh, these have names. That is Sophisticate. And then I'm going to go into this pale pink color, which is called Chic. And that I'm going to put up under my brow. A little bit up under there. Well, that's a little heavy. And then in my crease, I'm going to go ahead and blend this medium brown. It's called Exhale. And I'm just going to go in, put a gentle wash of that, just to give me a little bit of definition. Just blend that up with a blending brush. I'm just going to intensify that color just a little bit. Sometimes after you blend some of the color away. I think it's just such a nice soft look, and I'm going to go back into that brown shade and drag that underneath my lashes. So I am really excited about this quad. I think this is going to be my go-to quad for most of the summer, and I think it's such a fresh look. Okay, so let's move on to lips. And there are two kind of trends, if you will, in lips. There's like a soft pink lip, and then there's like a darker pop of color kind of lip. So they're calling it like a flaming lip, so where there would be plums and reds and pinks. but the colors are almost like patted on like a stain, so that you get a softer look and it's a little bit easier to wear and it doesn't look quite so heavy. So I went through my collection and I pulled a bunch to share with you that I felt fell into this category and would work really great. And the first one I have is from NYX, and it's their butter lipstick, and this shade is in Licorice. This is one of my favorite, it's just one of my favorite lipsticks. It looks like that, but it can easily be sheared out a little bit to give it a softer look. The next one is from Color Whisper, and it's called Berry Ready, and then sheared out a little bit. Next up is from Rimmel, and I think this is called Rosetto. It's number 05. This is part of the Kate Moss collection. This is definitely more of a pink tone. Okay, the next one is from Estee Lauder, and it's in the Insolent Plum. So that's straight out of the tube, or you can shear it a little bit. I think shearing it is really kind of fun. Then one of my two MAC lipsticks. My only two MAC products are these two lipsticks, but this is Rebel, which I think is kind of a cult classic. It's a great summertime shade. It's a really dark berry. It's sheared out a little bit. Awesome. And then from Laura Mercier, this is Black Orchid. It's one of their like glossy stick shades, and it definitely is more of a plum. So, and then for some of the lighter pinky colors from Color Whisper, this is Lust for Blush. One of my favorite formulas from Neutrogena, the Moisture Smooth Color Stick, and I have two shades. One is Bright Berry and the other is Sweet Watermelon. So here's Bright Berry and here is Sweet Watermelon. I think I'm going to go with Bright Berry. I love this formula so much. It is so moisturizing and smooth, and I just love the way it smells too. So that wraps up my spring makeup trends video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and let me know what trend you are most excited about trying out this spring, or what colors you're most excited about trying out for this spring. I would really like to know. And if you've tried any of the new foundations, which ones have you really liked? So let me know what you're most excited about. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and join me for future videos. Take care, and I'll see you real soon. Bye!